Howdy doody, folks. Well, here we go. This is what happened. So there's a video. You can watch it if you want. It's about 10 minutes. I feel much better now than I did at the time. I'm going to tell you why. So I'm learning about this as I go. Okay, I you guys know me. Okay, I'm not college educated, but I've just had to learn as I go. So the long and short of it was, when you do something like this, there are chances for the public to address their concerns. Now, if you watched the original video where, all the townspeople basically got up and said I was coming to poison the neighborhood, and one lady said that she felt it was her duty to save the neighborhood. I handled all that stuff great. Everything was good. There was some questions like that somebody else on the street had submitted as far as like their concerns, and this particular person happens to sit on like a board seat in the city. So it's kind of like me, the Mr. Big Sealcoating guy, like hanging out with a guy that does like a couple driveways a week. I want to throw my weight around. I want to show how smart I am. So they listed 30 questions. I think it was 5 pages, literally 5 pages of questions, and most of them were basically nonsense, and they easily got dismissed or explained away. And then there's this big issue with stormwater management. Now, you gotta understand. Oh, okay, fucking light. Okay, so you gotta understand, like, basically, you are responsible for all of your own water. So if it comes from your parking lot or it comes from your roof, it's going straight down in your property. Okay, they're trying to get away with people's properties' water filling up storm drains for the public, I guess. Even, I don't know. So it just drives the cost of the construction up, and you got to do it. It's kind of like a septic tank or a leach field for your runoff water from rain. So this person, and another person were trying to like get us to build like the state-of-the-art, like 5-tier separating, this and that, and organics, and but there's a law, and the law is that you're only required to do the minimum. There's a minimum that you have to do, and that's what we're doing. Okay. So that turned into a question. Then the containers. Now I have containers at the land. I know that they're not like nice to look at. I wouldn't want to look at them. I feel bad. The other day I had to take all the plows and stuff off the trucks and then put the sanders away, and I'm putting them up on top of the container, and I'm like, oh man, that must look like shit, like to the people across the street. Like, I can't wait. But right now the containers have to be there because everything else on the property is going to be built with something else when the construction starts. So the containers are just there because I don't have a building. Well, everybody wants to know what's going to happen with the containers. Now, it's been addressed in meetings. I've told them in the meetings, this is what I'm doing with the containers. And I'm going to sell them, and Mike Curl, my buddy, he's got his stuff up there, but he knows that, he was pretty much only welcome until the construction started. So there won't be any containers up there anymore, Now, I don't know. So, I don't know. I went there today thinking I was getting basically the sign off. I've already delivered everything to the Register of Deeds. Like, I was told by somebody, I'm not using names, but that I would be able to start site work on April 2nd. And now they're telling me like everything's getting pushed, and now we're going to March 20 or April 29th or April 27th or something. Like, and so then I got upset. But then I couldn't get up and leave because there was a guy there for the dispensary that's going in. and they have questions about the parking lot. So I was actually there to speak on his behalf too. So now I'm sitting in the back of this room and I'm getting really pissed off. Like, I'm just fucking pissed because I don't know what the hell just happened. But I know it's going to be very expensive. Like, if you watch the video, they have 6 different conditions that they want us to meet now. Even though they accepted the plan last month, now we have more conditions. So those conditions means the engineers have to rewrite plans, blah, 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 blah. And then you got to do everything that they're asking you to do as part of the conditions. Like, this is another $20,000. Like, just like that, guys. Boom, just like that. You know? So, yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. And, you know, you just want it to be over. So I had to sit there and wait for the other Yahoo to do his thing, you know? And then they didn't even wind up needing me. I didn't even have to speak, which was good because I would have got up there. I was very upset. But then I'm leaving, and one of the board members sees me and goes, "Hey, like, did you guys get a chance to speak about what you wanted to speak about?" And I was like, "Well, technically," I go, "He thought we were there for the weed thing." And I'm like, No, actually, I'm 50 Cudworth Road. I was kind of hoping I was going to get a little celebratory, like, sign off on my project today, you know? And I go, "But you guys had questions, you know?" I'm like, "You guys are up there and we've already talked about this. Like, you guys are asking about the containers, and I told you guys the containers are out of here." So I don't know. He's like, "Oh, geez, man, I'm so sorry." He's like, "Come on, let's go back upstairs. Come on, let's go back upstairs." So he takes me back upstairs. Now, there's certain rules, like, I think it's called decorum, but there's certain rules. Like, technically, he can't talk to me about, like, I couldn't go into, like, what I'm talking to you guys about, right? I couldn't. There's rules against that. So while the meeting is still technically open, it's, or not open, but it had just adjourned and it hasn't been closed out in the public's eyes yet, he and I could get in trouble for talking about the project without, you know, the rest of the board members there in front of the cameras, without Ann, who's the woman that you hear in the video, with the loud projecting voice. You know, Ann's been great to me. So I was a little taken back when all of this came up. Like, I just was like, why is she doing this? Like, the board's like, "Hey, we've already talked about this. We can vote on this right now." She's like, no. Like, you know, she essentially got this pushed off another month on me, you know? But when the guy took me back upstairs, he's like, "Yo, you got to talk to Ann. You got to go up and tell Ann right now." Like, you know, so he brought me up and I told her, you know, "I'm getting rid of the containers. Like, we're going to plant, like, beautiful, like, listen, when this place is done, this is going to be the nicest property on Cudworth Road. It is just going to be beautiful. The landscaping's going to be beautiful. The building's going to be cool looking. There's going to be a half basketball, half pickleball court. Like, the place will be the sickest place on the road." The fact that, like, these people are, like, trying to control, you know, what type of fence I put around my dumpster, what kind of shrubs I put, like, that's where I draw the line. Like, you have to just trust that I'm a guy that fucking started this business from absolutely nothing. I had a bucket and an oil tank on a trailer, and now I'm getting ready to build a building. Like, this is the pinnacle of my life. This is everything that I've worked for, and why wouldn't I want to make it the very, very best, you know, looking place? So goddamn light. All right, so that's it. So that's kind of what happened. And sorry to just keep stringing you guys along on this. You know, I was kind of hoping that I could be out there at some point with the chrome shovel there and the super clean hard hat doing the old, you know. But I guess it's gonna wait for another month. Boo! The saga continues.
G, next item, draft decision, site plan approval application to construct a new commercial building at 50 Cudworth Road, Webster, Mass. Assessor ID 96-A-2-5, Premier Seal Coating, 10 Spruce Street, Oxford, Mass. Applicant 4 Girls Enterprises, 10 Spruce Street, Oxford, Mass. Owner, site is located with an industrial zone, continued from 2/26/24.
Okay, it was, it was my hope to have had a full decision for you at this meeting. Fortunately, we've been short-staffed. A new conservation agent is coming on, but there were some issues as I got into it. It's in draft format up to a certain point. I've given you a list of issues that repeatedly were raised either in written comment or during the public meeting on the site plan that I need some direction from for you all in order to present you with a neutral decision, which is what you usually get, one where it doesn't, make a decision one way or the other, provides you with some language to consider. So that list in front of you is, again, the dumpster. They've submitted a plan that shows fencing with black slats on it. But there were several occasions where the residents had requested a stockade fence for better screening. So I want some direction from you all as to, do you want to stick with what's been proposed on the site plan, or would you prefer that to be more screened with a stockade fence?
Are we talking about, we're talking about
50
Sealcoating.
Cudworth.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a site, right?
Yeah.
That's the only one that's, okay.
G,
The East Main Street gas station, that'll be next meeting.
Yeah. No,
Those
I
were
just-
together, she said, the
missed-
E and O.
Okay, skip one.
So I'll just need for these 6 issues that, were consistently raised. Some of them got discussed at length, some of them did not. So I'm just looking for some more direction from you on your thoughts, and I'll do the best I can if there are conflicting opinions on it, and you guys can hammer it out at the time of decision, which will be next month.
What did we state at the minutes of last meeting? I thought we said that we wanted a chain link with
Yeah, with the slats,
With the
yeah.
slots, that's what I
Yeah.
recall.
Okay.
With, I think the color was black or.
yeah. And I think we were going to ask for the height to be enough to block out the
Right.
the dumpster. I think that's, if I'm not mistaken.
So chain link with black slats as
Yeah.
opposed to stockade.
I think that's what we had decided last meeting. I don't
We haven't
remember.
made any decision at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing them up because I've seen different things in different documents. So I just want to be sure that I'm putting the right condition in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and that's what we had decided upon. The chain link fence with the slats, and high enough that it blocked out the height of the dumpster, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I'm going to bring up for the next one, I'm going to bring up the site plan. The last one, which was 24. 28, revised plan set. Here we go. So another issue that wasn't fully vetted in terms of the requirements for the site plan approval is screening, landscaping. Trying to get to, is there a landscape plan here?
Yeah, they were black slots. That's what we discussed.
A chain link.
Keep going.
Chain link, yeah,
That's it?
chain link
Okay.
fence with black slots.
So you'll notice on the landscape plan, there is some proposed landscaping in various spots. But again, the issue was raised about the fact that, now, things are heating up and climate change and whatnot. If you are interested in requiring additional plantings to provide for, heat absorption, but also to provide some screening, particularly along this facade, because as you know, these are residential uses over here. So any direction for me on whether or not you are interested in more landscaping screening along the frontage?
I mean, right now it's a dirt lot
Yeah,
that they're looking at. So I think what they have is, they're going to put, I think that's a stone wall or there's some sort of barrier that's being put in.
Yeah, what is that? Is that a stone wall or a?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dark line.
Lower right? Okay, Chuck tells me there's a detail. There we go.
Oh, there's a
Is it a
freestanding
brick?
wall.
How tall is that wall?
3 feet
2 feet.
or 2 feet? See, 3 feet, 36.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
The plan calls that as a 2-foot high.
So what is why are they doing a 2-foot wall there? And then now
already
she's
there.
saying we should probably put
no,
some.
the wall would stay. The wall,
Yeah.
that's on the plan. What's, you have it in your discretion to be able to consider additional screening or landscaping if you feel it's appropriate for the area, or, that's what I need some direction on.
Is that just grassy section in that rectangle there that the wall is on? Or
That looks
sort
like
of
grass, yes.
It's a grassy section.
Chuck, what is the 2-foot wall? Why is that there? Just for,
I think it's just decorative.
just
So
decorative?
the 2-foot wall is the hatched area,
Yeah.
not the stone area. The stone area is like a stone berm for water quality.
Oh, okay.
So it's the long rectangular piece closer to the road.
Yeah.
So any thoughts, or do you want to think about it and at the time of decision?
It's open grass, flat, and then there's parking spots. Is that what what you'll see from the road?
No, because the wall will be here, so.
Is it a hill?
Oh, the wall's closed. Oh, that's the, right
Yes.
there.
I think it's a slope tail.
But it's a hill, so you wouldn't be able to see up into the parking spots, is that? I can't visualize it.
Yes, so the top of the wall is going to be roughly at the same elevation as the parking lot.
The wall at the street, the 2-foot wall?
Correct.
Oh, so it's all flat?
No, there's a stormwater basin behind the wall. So that's 3 feet down roughly. So it kind of dips down a little bit and then comes back up.
Is that wall there already?
No,
Oh,
I mean, what kind of plantings could you put besides trees, arborvitae, something that's going to grow tall to not let people see the parking areas and so forth?
well, I think what Ann's talking about is maybe some landscaping closer to the parking lot, because if you have
Oh, look at the
tall
top.
trees right up against the road, it's going to block your sight line.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, we could add a couple more trees, but beyond that, I don't see a reason. I mean, I'm okay with what they presented. I mean, right now it's a dirt lot.
Yeah.
That's not
I am too. I mean,
landscape,
just
so
that 2-foot wall all the way across is.
I don't know if that makes an impact on anything.
I don't either. I think it's okay the way it is, with the way it's proposed right now, and you guys feel the same way, or?
Yeah, I'm fine with what they've proposed.
Yeah, I think it's fine the way they're proposing it.
I'm going to jump to number 4. And again, not a ton of conversation about whether or not those shipping tank containers should remain.
What's in those containers, or what do they? Are they just
some of the materials. What's being proposed for the facilities for equipment storage
Right.
and for office space.
Yeah.
I think it's materials
Yeah,
in the building.
materials.
Was they storing the materials in the building?
Yes. So it's just materials related to,
Is the applicant able to answer questions to, no?
So those are trees that are right by the 3 of them there? Is that trees or landscaping?
Yes.
The circles at the
Those
bottom.
No, on the
little
bottom
smaller
by
ones,
the,
right?
yeah,
Behind the
yeah.
wall. Looks like a wall.
Those
yeah.
are? So those are all trees?
those are trees.
It's an
and that's a
industrial
wall.
area too.
Right. What's that?
It's an industrial zone,
I know,
right? So
That's what,
containers shouldn't be that big a deal.
right.
So I think the question is, and I believe we had discussed this at one of the meetings, is whether or not the existing shipping containers were going to remain or not. and I wanted to say that the engineer had said that they were going to be removed
Okay.
as part of the project, but I couldn't find anything on the plans that said that. So we just want to make sure we have everything straight.
That's even better if they do remove them, right?
I think it would be better aesthetically.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we could just say that it should be, they need to be removed. We can state that.
Because they'll be required to submit a site plan endorsement set to make these adjustments. That's why we're asking, because those conditions will lead to that final endorsement set. So, I mean, I can put it in there and you're gonna have to take a vote on this stuff anyway, so.
Yeah, if they could remove them, that'd be great, or if, if they have a problem with it, they can just let us know.
Yeah, I just don't understand what they're gonna put, what are gonna be in the containers, why they need them after.
Building the
I
building.
think that's what we had discussed last time, and I believe that the materials that they currently have in the shipping containers, they were going to store in the building.
So was it so
So
much
it's just
time after
temporary.
the building's built, they should build them?
Well, it needs to be clear on the final plan that gets submitted for endorsement, so.
That's what I think is kind of unusual, is that they have them on that plan right now, right? So
Well, is that current conditions?
That's
That's current.
that's
They
the
just-
problem. It's not overly clear.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they kept the existing conditions, underneath the overlay of the proposed conditions, and it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen there.
So basically, we have to wait till they submit the final site plan and then see if they're on
No,
there or
you're gonna
not?
make a decision, and if your
Before,
decision says the shipping containers need to be
Got it,
removed from
yeah.
the site, the final plan will not reflect that. These will physically come off of the plan set.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, we'll make a motion as a group, right?
Well, you don't have to make any motions
Okay.
right now. You'll have the decision at the next meeting.
Okay. I mean, our consensus, I believe, is to have them removed if at all possible.
They can remove it. If they need storage there, they can submit something. They
Yeah.
can build another structure.
Right.
Looks a little better.
Okay. Then there is, obviously, we know that there is a minuscule amount of light spillage off of the northeast corner over here. I think it's 0.1 foot candles.
I forget.
I think it's 0.1. But it probably, if there's, it'd probably be a good idea. This was suggested that the light fixtures be shielded with full cutoffs and the lighting be a warmer color temperature. And it was suggested 3,000 kilowatts or less, which, what, Kelvin, is that what that is?
I believe so. It's not kilowatts.
Okay. Wow, that would be bright.
Color
wouldn't
up.
it?
Color.
Ian, whose property is this bordering that, you're talking about the spillage?
I think there's
This
another
is where
business to the
light
north.
spillage is. This is what's the supply company? Sort of plumbing supply.
Remember.
And then Goya's over here. So the spillage is onto Goya Drive. But Goya Drive also slopes down to Cudworth.
Yeah.
And there are people who live over here, directly across the street. So light spillage at this upper corner, you would think it's not such a big deal, but again, it could possibly be visible to the abutting neighbors. So this, if you were interested, that we could develop a condition that does just what this comment has, suggested to, full cutoffs, which I'm not sure I know what those are. But it comes some way. I know why they need the lighting on the building. It's a security issue.
Yeah.
I get it. But there are ways to balance their needs with the impacts to the neighbors by providing some additional requirement.
I'm
I-
in favor of the light cutoffs, reduce the light pollution, so that's fine with me.
You would be interested in seeing it?
Yeah.
And I'll work with Chuck to make sure I get the correct language.
I agree.
I would think that the industrial neighbors would be for having additional lighting, but, that's just my thought, I mean, it's probably kind of a dark corner up in that, because I know whereabouts you're talking about. I would think that any kind of light spillage up in that area would probably be a good thing, But I'll go along with what the group says, and
So we'll come up with
so.
Yeah.
That works in low light, right?
Okay, and now we'll go with what
Okay.
Jason just said, yeah. Thank you.
And then the last one, I'm going to let Chuck speak to, there was a comment about revising the stormwater report for something technical I won't even pretend to understand. So Chuck looked into it, and I'll let him respond to this. That's number 3 on your list.
So this comment that was raised essentially says that, you know, when you do your drainage study, you have pre-development conditions and post-development conditions. And they wanted to see, instead of having the gravel there, which is there now, they wanted it to be wooded. You know, but the logging operation that was in there was essentially previously permitted by the town, not necessarily the board. But it was an allowed use in the area, and they cleared it, put down gravel, and that's how this project started. So I'm not overly concerned about this from an engineering standpoint, in that they're very well drained soils, and the stormwater management system that they are proposing is very conservative. So I don't think the board needs to be concerned with the number 3 comment.
Okay.
Does everyone understand what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Smile and nod.
So in
Yep.
other words,
Uh-huh.
it's like you add more trees to bring it to prior condition.
Right, so the
existing.
runoff from woods would be less than the gravel parking turnaround area that you have there now. So in a sense, when they have to do their post-development calculations and post-development stormwater treatment, they would have to reduce even further the amount of water coming off the site in order to meet the existing condition peak flows that were coming off the site.
So we just wanted to, because that comment's out there, we just wanted to make sure you knew that staff had looked at it and had made a determination. So it's more for your information to have that on your list. And
Okay.
there was another thing that was brought up, but it was pointed out to me that perpetual spill kits on site is really the purview of the Conservation Commission. So the decision will be ready for you now with this direction. Thank you. Will be ready for you at your next meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.